The DCU is about to get a lot more chaotic and a little less heroic. With James Gunn's reboot of the DCU in the works, fans are eagerly speculating about which legendary characters from the comic book universe might appear in this new cinematic landscape. Among the names in the minds of die-hard DC enthusiasts is a rather peculiar and unpredictable character, Lobo. But who is Lobo and what could his arrival mean for the DCEU? In this dive into the world of Lobo, we'll uncover the chaotic bounty hunter's backstory and explore his previous appearances in comics, animated series, and even in a brief live-action stint. So let's get started. Lobo is one tough Czarnian dude with super strength and an unshakable determination. He's all about wild brawls, getting wasted and taking lives just for the heck of it. His name pretty much means he loves gobbling up your guts and having a blast doing it. He's pretty full of himself, mostly into his own fun, but when he makes a promise, he keeps it exactly as he said, no more, no less. Lobo stands alone as the very last Czarnian, and he got that title by wiping out his fellow Czarnians just for kicks. In a wild story from Lobo number 0, he let loose a nasty swarm of flying scorpions on his home planet, wiping out most of the folks living there. When you look at Lobo, he's kinda like a pale human guy, but with some eye-catching features. His eyes are a fiery shade of red, and he doesn't have any pupils, which make them pretty intense. His eyelids are usually dark, adding to his edgy appearance. As for his body, he's one buff dude, like a lot of the comic book characters. In the beginning, he was a bit more slim and less bulky, but as time went on, he beefed up quite a bit. At first, he had this neat purple-grey hair, but it went through a style evolution. It turned into a wild grey mane, then changed to long, messy grey-black rocker hair. He even rocked some dreadlocks and, more recently, a snazzy pompadour. When it comes to his wardrobe, Lobo ditched the orange and purple leotard he used to wear in his early days. Instead, he went for a tougher look with black leather biker gear. He even tried out some robes when he posed as an archbishop and sported some pirate-themed gear for a while. Later on, he switched to a sleeveless flight suit or a jumpsuit. Now let's talk weapons. Lobo's got a whole arsenal going on. He packs lots of guns, and to make things even more interesting, he's got a titanium chain with a hook on his right arm. He's not one to skimp on the firepower, and he might even carry some frag grenades and giant carving blades just to keep things exciting. Believe it or not, Lobo's got a sort of honor code, but it's got its quirks. He's dead serious about never breaking the exact terms of an agreement. He once said in Superman, the animated series, that the man's word is his bond. But don't let that fool you, he might happily bend the rules a bit in spirit. Now, here's something unexpected. Lobo's got a soft spot for space dolphins. He takes care of some of them at his place and even feeds them. Unfortunately, a few of these dolphins meet a tragic end in different situations, and when that happens, Lobo doesn't hesitate to bring out his usual dose of violence to set things straight. Lobo's got a motley crew of friends too. There's Dog, a bulldog that he often pretends isn't his when he gets into trouble. Then there's Jonas Glim, a fellow bounty hunter who's in his circle. He's also pals with Ramona, who wears 2 hats as a bail bondswoman and hairdresser. And last but not the least, there's Guy Gardner, a buddy of Lobo's. Their friendship got sealed when Lobo swung by Guy's bar called Warriors and handed over a space hog and the skull of the Tormok leader Bronk as a gift. Lobo's relationship with Dog takes a wild turn in Lobo Volume 2, number 58, when he stomps the poor pup to death, and as usual, he tries to deny any connection to the dog when talking to Superman. This marks the final time he makes that claim, but here's a twist. Dog somehow shows up alongside Lobo again when they head to Earth to throw down with Green Lantern and Atrocitus. Lobo's list of enemies is quite handful. He's crossed paths with Do-Gooder, superhero parody Gold Star, Lou, Real Docs, Bloodhound, Etrigan the Demon, and General Glory. And when Lobo's on a job to capture someone, he usually aims to kill them, be it his 4th grade teacher, Miss Trib, his own kids, Santa Claus, or even poor Dog. His main targets though are Superman and Deathstroke. In the midst of all this chaos, Lobo has a regular spot he frequents, Al's Diner. He often flirts with the only waitress there, Darlene Spritzer. He does try to keep them safe from harm, but he doesn't quite get how much damage he causes by wrecking the place. Oddly enough, Al and Arlene actually prosper thanks to Lobo's appetite for destruction. He ends up demolishing the whole city except for the diner, so all the construction workers have no choice but to have their lunch there. There's even a diner Al gifts him for a birthday celebration, and Lobo manages to destroy that too. Now let's talk about Lobo beyond the comics. Lobo is undoubtedly one of DC's most beloved characters among comic book fans and experts. Surprisingly, he's had very few opportunities to step out of the comic book pages and onto the big screen. Despite having a massive fan base that even includes the late great Marvel legend Stan Lee, Lobo has yet to star in his own feature film. He's made appearances in a handful of DC animated series like Superman the Animated Series, Young Justice, and Justice League Action. He even had his own short-lived series called Lobo, but that's largely been forgotten. In these animated shows, he's typically portrayed as a colourful antagonist, a quirky obstacle for the main superhero of the week. Lobo's lone live-action appearance with wide visibility was in the second season of Sci-Fi's Krypton. Actor Emmett J. Scanlan took on the role of the bounty hunter and played a secondary villain in a 4-episode story arc. While his character was somewhat separate from the central conflict of the series, the network saw the potential for Lobo to become a fan favourite, so they were planning a spin-off featuring Lobo. Unfortunately, Sci-Fi cancelled Krypton in 2019, which felt all too familiar for Lobo fans. Over the years, there have been announcements about a Lobo feature film from Warner Brothers, but these plans often seem to stall and never quite materialized. Let's get to the feature film, which has been in the works for over a decade. The journey to bring Lobo to the big screen has been quite the ride for fans. It all began in 2009 when Warner Brothers announced plans for a live-action Lobo movie, with Guy Ritchie set to direct the gritty anti-hero film. However, Ritchie eventually left the project to work on a Sherlock Holmes sequel. Over the next decade, various directors including Brad Peyton and Jason Fox took a shot at bringing Lobo to life on the big screen. At one point, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was even attached to the project during Brad Peyton's tenure. There was extensive pre-production work and screenplay development, but each attempt to make the movie happen ultimately ended with the project being put on hold. Now, there seems to be a renewed buzz around the character, with Jason Momoa taking on the role. With the emergence of the new DC cinematic universe, it's possible that Lobo could finally get his shot at the silver screen. While we'll have to wait and see, one thing's for sure: Lobo, being immortal and all, has plenty of time in his hands. No matter how long it takes, it feels almost certain that the godlike bounty hunter will eventually make it to the theaters for his big screen debut. Well, that's it for today. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.